Hello, creators, and welcome to Rediscovering Be Something Wonderful, where we revisit timeless classics from deep within our video archives. Today's classic is a powerful reminder that you're not trying to reach a future parallel you. You're already the one living it. There's no distance, no becoming, no shifting timelines. I am is the shift. Identity creates and reality follows. Now, let's open the vault once again and receive this powerful message. A reminder that the life you dream of isn't waiting as another version of you. It's the one you already are. Welcome back to Be Something Wonderful. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, good morning and welcome back to the studios of Be Something Wonderful. Big video for you today. The question came up around parallel alternative realities, parallel alternative versions of you, living another life, living the things that you desire in this physically focused reality. Right? We've talked about this idea that you couldn't even think, imagine, or desire something unless there was an infinite version of you, another parallel alternative you living that life, living that desired identity, living that desired reality. This is powerful, right? Because all things exist here and now. They're not past lives. All your lives are going on right now. Every possible infinite scenario as a physical human experience and other experiences, both physical and non-physical, are going on right here and now. You're that infinite, you're that powerful. So I want to talk about this because one of you sent me an email with a big I get it, like 4 exclamation points in this email, and talked about the idea that they understand now. They've been asking the question, how do I shift? How do I know I'm God? How do I know I'm reality? How do I know I'm another parallel alternative identity? How do I get there? Where do I look? When do I do it? What do I do? Right? All of these questions. Why haven't I moved? All of those questions. And he got it that he realized that, remember, when you're reality, when you're that infinite being, you're instantly, constantly, and continually shifting and moving, creating reality. So you're creating a reality of asking how. You're creating a reality of not being aware that you are God or source of your reality when you ask that question. I want to talk a little bit about that, but bigger than that, I want to talk about how do we shift to parallel alternative realities and identities. Well, let's start with A Course in Miracles that gave us a blueprint, really a metaphysical blueprint, to shift to parallel alternative versions of yourself in reality. Remember, you're shifting realities and versions of you in every moment, completely and absolutely new, past, present, and future, or in other words, now. This realization that every moment is a completely new slate, it's a completely new you, a new present moment, a new view of that one present moment, right? A new horizontal linear past and a new horizontal linear future that makes space-time sense to that physically focused you. It's all new. But when you believe it hasn't changed, you're persisting and creating a reality where nothing has changed in that moment, right? Past, present, and future. And so the question A Course in Miracles asks is this: what would you see? They call it the law of seeing. What would you see? The choice is given you. It reminds me of that episode on Deep Space Nine, Emissary, that I've talked about before, when Commander Sisko and Dax, they go through a wormhole and land on another planet. And Dax gets out, Sisko walks out and sees lightning and darkness and terror, right? A terrible landscape, a very dark, horrible landscape. And Dax walks out and it's beautiful. She's saying, I've never seen anything so beautiful. And Siska's going, what are you talking about? Do you see it? You get to decide what you will see. There's no world outside of you. You create what you see. It's a decision. Really, really, really want to get this. It's a choice from within to persist in that fulfillment now. We're going to talk towards the end. We're going to give you a process, right? This is inspired by your I am awareness by Jesus, right? When he resurrected Lazarus, right? The process that he used to create that miracle. We're going to talk about this today in a metaphysical way that you can grasp onto. But remember, it's you. You are the operant power. So, A Course in Miracles says this, you will look upon that which you feel within. Now, they're not talking about changing feelings and emotions. Like Neville Goddard said, when I speak of the feeling of wish fulfilled, I do not mean emotion, but the conviction, the acceptance that you are already that which you desire to be. Asking how implies that you're not. Asking why, where, when, what's going on implies that you're not. Remember, that great consciousness, that great I am, that great subconscious, that great divine mind feels and knows. It feels the conviction of its I amness. It knows itself as reality, as the only reality. It announces reality. That's what we're talking about. And then you, as a individualized center of that divine mind, as the seat of all power, all possibilities, all knowing, everything, everywhere, all at once, you project or reflect your experience as source, as a physical experience, and you participate in it. But you are not it. But when we identify with the physically solid conditions that seem continuous, we ask these questions: how, why, where, when, what? And you're asking from inside those conditions, from inside that frame where nothing can be changed. It's changed here is you as the center, right? Projecting that experience. Past, present, and future. It's all probable realities. All that is, the great I am. You are the conscious, self-aware center and seat of all power, of the one divine mind, of the power, the only power, the one power that creates worlds. You're it, and so is everybody else. That's the paradox. That's the holographic nature of all that is. Wherever all that is it all of it is. Meaning, wherever consciousness is at all of the consciousness must be there. It's like cutting a hologram. You see the whole image no matter how small you cut that piece, how small you believe you are, all of God is within you. It's like those holograms. I remember as a kid, you would cut them up and see the entire image. We would have fun with those. The entire image in that little piece, that's you. The entirety of God is within you. Not a part, not an aspect, not a little part, all of it and everybody else. That's that's the whole idea of aligning with that. You're already aligned and connected forever. There's an unbroken connection, right? So let's continue. But it seems too simple, right? It seems too good to be true. That all you need to do, as A Course in Miracles says, be still and know. Be still and know what? Know that I am. Know that I am all that is. Know that I am source. Know that I am reality. Simply know that I am that person that I always desired to be. Simply know that I am, and then be still, affirm. Rupert Spira, I've talked about this in other videos, the famous teacher of non-dualism, right? Non-dual reality, this oneness, right? He talks about this awareness and consciousness and the knowing. He says he goes, I would have worded it differently. I would have said, know, and then be still. In other words, know that I am, and then be still, or affirm, or meditate, or do or not do whatever else you choose to do. It doesn't matter. It's the knowing that matters. This is what one of you that sent me an email realized, right? Hold on to nothing, as A Course in Miracles says. Source doesn't have to hold on. Attachment makes no sense. Even letting go doesn't make sense. because there's nothing to let go of. There's nothing to hold on to. There's nothing to let go of. Your source. Hold on to nothing. Course in Miracles says, simply do this. I love it. Simply do this. We think it's too simple. Simply do this. Be still and lay aside all thoughts of what you are. They say lay aside. Don't resist. Don't reject. It's not about going on a mental diet. It's not trying to avoid them. Just lay them aside. They don't have to go away. Lay aside all thoughts of what you are and what God is. Right? Those preconceived notions that it's something outside of you. All concepts you have learned about the world and all images you hold about yourself. Let that all go. And know yourself as the one and only source. It means lay them aside. It doesn't mean you're going to get rid of them. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have a thought of that. It doesn't mean you're going to not trip over something and hit a toe and say, oh, that feels pretty physical to me. You're going to feel all of that. It's not telling you not to feel things, not to see things. But what will you see? You get to decide. What will you feel? You get to decide what that all means to you. This is powerful. An email from one of you, I get it. He really got the idea that asking how makes no sense. I realize that asking those questions, right, is a state of being itself and also a reality. Exactly. Your reality. So if you ask those questions, you create a reality of asking how. You are the one awareness. And when you put your awareness on that, you're putting an awareness on something outside of you. So you create that reality that you need to know how. Right? Just know you are your own reality. You don't even really create or manifest it. You are it, all of it. Right? The asking how, asking when, asking where, asking why, asking what creates a reality of seeking, of wanting, of asking, of waiting, of hoping, but never being and knowing that I am God, that I am that I am, that I am source, that I am all that is. He says this, I made a decision just to be the creator. I love this. Instead of looking for proof and and asking how am I the creator. He just went to the knowing. Right? And he's having fun. He's frolicking in all of these conditions that are in his face. Wow. Knowing himself as source. So, remember, you are the proof. That's why God said, this is my name. I am who I am. I am that I am. I am the only proof and reality of anything. That's why God said that. There you are. I am awareness. You as the Son of God and as the Son of Man in a physical experience, in a physically focused experience. But you're still divine. You're still all possibilities. Yes, you have a physical focus that you can see and participate in, but you are this. You are here. The question is, who do you say that I am, like Jesus asked? That's always a question. Remember, any change is total change in your experience. You don't ever change this. I am is that I am. You don't change that. That's untouchable, right? That's untainted. But you can certainly change your experience of all that you are, right? And that's changing in every moment. Do you see it? Those frames, past, present, and future. Remember, everything's created from now. You're creating that horizontal linear past that makes space-time sense to who you are now. You're creating that horizontal linear future that makes space-time sense to who you decide to be now. You're always in the vertical. Do you see it? Of these realities. And all of these scripts, when A Course in Miracles says the script is written, all of these potential realities or physical linear experiences exist. Infinite potential scripts, identities, versions, and parallel alternative realities that you are living. A version of you. But to you, to the physically focused you right now, they're potential. Just as to another version of you, your life is potential. You see? They're all potential. But you're always in this vertical, from this present moment, deciding who you are. Do you get this? Each of these scripts are written, meaning none of these are ever changed. You just move to another script, to another parallel possibility, but you don't go anywhere. You're always in the vertical. You're always here and now. You create those ideas of a past and future, But you only exist here and now, creating it all. Forever changeless and infinite, limitless, right? I love this from the movie Next, which I've mentioned in a few videos now. Here's the thing about the future. And I say, here's the thing about reality, because it's not just the future, but the past, present, and future. Here's the thing about the past, present, and future, right? Every time you look at it, it changes because you looked at it. And that changes everything else. No matter what you're looking at, if you're remembering the past, look in the conditions of the present, right? Or imagining the future. Well, you're imagining it and creating it right now, in this moment. How are you going to look at it? Because that changes everything. Do you see it? It changes because you looked at it. No matter where you're looking, it changes everything, past, present, and future. It's all connected. In every now moment, remember, there's only one eternal present moment, or eternal presence, or awareness, or knowing, right? Even moment is a concession to the idea of linear time, or the idea of time, right? Even now is a concession to the idea of time. Now is just awareness. What else could now be but awareness? Awareness of being. That's what now means. That's what the eternal presence means. And you are that. In every now moment, you're a completely new identity and version of you. Every moment, you create a new horizontal linear past and future that makes space-time sense, or fits with whom you've defined, assumed, and chosen yourself to be here and now. With what you have decided you are here and now. And vice versa. The past you remember, or in other words, imagine, because what is a memory but just an imaginal image? So you're always imagining. So that past that you remember, that you believe in, that memory or that mental image, or that future that you imagine, whatever it is, you create a new you in the horizontal linear present. So whether you're looking, hear this. So whether you're remembering the past, imagining the future, looking out at the conditions in the present, you're creating a new horizontal linear you in every moment. A new experience. This doesn't change, but you create a different experience depending on what you're remembering, depending on what you're imagining. It's all imagination. It's all a dream, as you would say. So let's see here. Where are we? Yeah. So the past you remember, in other words, imagine, or that memory, that mental image, and the future you imagine, create a new you, horizontal linear present. So it's all created. It doesn't matter where you are. This is why we talked about Neville Goddard's revision from the next level. That when you revise a past event, you're just remembering it differently. You're imagining it differently. Remember, what is a memory? It's a mental image. You're remembering a different mental image, a different probable past. And that changes your probable present and your probable future. Just as when you imagine your wish fulfilled, a possible future or a probable future, you change who you are in the present and who you were in the past. Do you see it? It's absolute connection and reciprocity. It's unity with everything. It's very powerful today. So, all probable pasts, presents, and futures exist here and now as potential to the physically focused you, or the physically focused personality, right? In Seth Speaks, this is what Seth says about it. This is the non-physical entity that was channeled through Jane Roberts in the 1970s and the early 80s. Seth says this: you accept as real only certain classifications of events and ignore others. You choose one particular group of these and latch upon this group of events as the only ones possible, not realizing that you have selected from an infinite variety of past events. Wow. But not just past events, but probable past, probable presents, probable futures exist. All scripts are written, all possibilities. You're choosing among all of those possibilities. and hear this. I've said this before, but I really want to say it with a clarity and passion today. If you had the same conviction about your imagined future that you do about your remembered past, or those conditions that you believe are so solid in the present, you could be living the life of your dreams in every moment. Imagine. But that's what we're saying. We're saying it doesn't matter what they appear to look like. They're all existing now. You would be living the absolute life of your dreams. Right? If you had that same conviction about your imagined future, about what you want, that your desired reality, than you do about your remembered past or those solid conditions that you keep staring at, or the changing thoughts and feelings that you identify with as your personality or who you are, or you identify those changing thoughts and feelings as reality. When none of it's reality, you're making it up all now. You are reality. You are the awareness of being. You're the knowing. That's the only thing that is real. You are that one love, that one reality, that one divine mind. Everything else is the circus. You make it up, right? This is powerful. So, and this is what Seth says. The words past, present, and future are no more meaningful as far as true experience is concerned than the words ego or conscious or unconscious. He's just making a point, and I know a few of you use a lot of vocabulary explaining reality, and that's great. Some of you have a great grasp on the metaphysics, but none of the vocabulary matters. These are all just arbitrary, right, separations to try to understand something that can't really be understood from that physical linear perspective, right, that unlimited perspective, that you are the one and only reality. Right? You're experiencing reality as reality. Here I am now. Remember when Moses says, "Here I am." Moses, Moses, where are you? God's crying. God's asking, right? Not crying out. God's asking, right? Where are you, Moses? Hey, Moses, here I am. And that's repeated 6 times in the Bible in different areas from different characters in the Bible, right? Important parts of those stories, right? The metaphysical message. The process of manifesting and reality creation isn't about holding thought, trying to think and feel something into being, right? Trying to hold thought and hold on to those and having certain emotions to manifest something, right? All of it already is. That's why they call it all that is. So what does all that is do? It simply announces itself to be what it knows that it is. This is what this person who sent me the email really realized. It's just an announcement of what you already know. It's you as that awareness, expressing yourself as that awareness, from that awareness, through that awareness. This is from Ernest Holmes. But I want to make a clarification. It's not about saying, okay, I assumed it, Tom. I claimed it. Now where's my stuff? How come I haven't shifted? Why is my life still not changing? Right? But what about this lost stuff is all BS, right? It's all BS. You guys and all those YouTube channels, you guys are all full of BS. This doesn't work, right? You're gaslighting people, convincing them that they can create their own reality. No, you are. You are. You're creating that reality where I think there was one of you that was really saying, I'm just miserable. I'm frustrated. I'm sick of it. But remember, you're creating all that. What do you want to see? You can see anything, right? This is powerful, right? How come nothing has changed, right? I mean, think about this. I want to use the example of Jesus raising Lazarus, right? The biggest miracle in Scripture, right? Jesus did a lot of miracles, but raising Lazarus after being dead 4 days, right? Remember, I've talked about this many times. I'll say it again. After 3 days, it was believed that the spirit leaves the body. After 4 days, that would be a miracle. Because Lazarus was dead, right? Not just dead, but dead, right? That would be like Jesus, the Son of Man, right? The Son of God in expression, or in other words, you, right? Jesus represents you as I am awareness, you as your physically focused personality. Walking up to the tomb of Lazarus, right? Who had been dead for 4 days, right? Dead. And commanding, Lazarus, come forth, right? And nothing happens. Okay, I'll try a little harder. Lazarus, come on. I'll imagine a little bit more. Come on. What? Laz, come out already. Where are you? This law doesn't work. This law's BS. I'm going back to carpentry. It'd be like Jesus, right? I'm going to just go back and be a carpenter again. This law is BS. It doesn't work. Think about that. Where would we be? Right? Instead, what did he do? What did he do? We're going to demonstrate this for you today. He took 3 steps. You want a process? You want steps? These are them. Right? These are them. He stood at the tomb. In other words, he stood amidst the seeming impossible conditions. Right? That past that seems to be still haunting you. That present where the conditions seem to still be frustrating you. In those impossible conditions, when your dreams and desires appear to be dead, like Lazarus, feels to be dead, he gave thanks. He didn't say the law is BS, right? And I'm going back to carpentry. I'm just going to give up. He gave thanks, right, to that higher power, right? But remember, you ask, well, I don't understand who I'm giving thanks to if I'm God. Remember that higher power within you. Right? You as the Son of Man, as that physically focused personality is giving thanks to that source that is much greater than you, but with which you are one. I and the Father are one, but the Father is greater than I. That's what you're doing. You're giving that higher power within you that is you, but infinitely greater than that physically focused personality that says it's all BS. Right? Infinitely greater than that guy. Do you see this? This is powerful. Jesus here recognizing that it's not the 3D world physically focused you that does the works, but the Father or the source that dwells within you does the works. That's why Jesus said it's the Father, not me, but the Father within me that does the works. That's who you're thanking, but you're not separate from that. We always want to, everything for us has to be either or. It's and, yeah, yes, the Father is greater than you and you're one with the Father. Right? The linear mind wants to divide things up, right? And put things in boxes, right? And the Father that dwells within you doesn't work. Not my will, but yours be done. In other words, not my will that wants to make something happen from lack and fear and separation, and it thinks it's all BS and it's all gaslighting. Not that guy, not that will, but yours, the greater will, knowing that it always is done. That I can't thwart God's will. What is God's will? God wills that his Son has everything. You, as the Son of God and the Son of Man, has everything and is everything. And he guaranteed that by making you everything. Guaranteed that his will is done. In other words, thank God I don't have to make this stuff happen. Thank God I don't have to go back to carpentry. That's what Jesus is saying. Thank God I don't have to go back and be a carpenter. Right? Right? Or try to be who I'm not already. Thank God I don't have to try to be someone that I'm not, that I am all things. It's that recognition and gratitude. That's the first step. Then what did Jesus, as your metaphysical I am awareness, do? He said, I know that you always hear me. Wow. I know the unification now, identifying himself as the center of the divine mind. That whatever I assume is heard. Because I'm one with that divine mind. I'm one with God. Yes, God's greater than me. That source is greater than me. I'm going to thank it. But also, but the Father and I are one. That's what Jesus is saying here. Right? That unification, identifying as a divine mind. That all possible identities, reality exists within me. You're unifying with the one source, embodying this new identity. Right? You're reconciling the paradox of paradoxes. That the Father is greater than I, and the Father and I are one. You're resolving that paradox, right here. Identifying yourself as one with the Father, but the Father is greater than I. At the same time, feeling the gratitude that you exist as all that is, and that you're one with everybody and everything else. That's powerful. And then what he did, now he commanded. That's the Lazarus, come forth. Declare, assume, affirm, imagine. You're already who and what you imagine and desire yourself to be now, right? That's why, this is what Ernest Holmes says. This really comes from the science of mind, Ernest Holmes and his teachings. This is the method, or this method can be used in all treatment, all demonstrations, right? First, realize that divine power is. It just is. Here and now, acting through you and as you, as the operant power. Then unify with it. Make yourself the center and seat of the divine mind. Know it. And then speak it. Right? Know and feel it. Right? The great subconscious, the great I am, knows and feels. Speak the word as one having authority for the law. Just like the centurion, the story of the centurion's servant. Right? I'm not worthy. The centurion saying to Jesus, they also did it in The Chosen. They recreated that scene. I'm not worthy that you come under my roof. Right? As the physically focused, limited personality. But just say the word, and my servant will be healed. Just say the word, and my perception and what I see will be healed. It will be whole. It will be complete. That's the law of seeing that A Course in Miracles is referring to. That's what that means. That's what healing is. Just say the word and I will see it as you see me. Right? That's the law. That's the process. That's how to shift parallel versions of you in reality, past, present, and future. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on the videos. Thank you for being part of our Facebook group, The Ambassadors, at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful. For joining us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin, and TikTok at Be Something Wonderful, or anywhere on social media at either Tom Kearin or Be Something Wonderful. And for being part of our membership channel. Last night, we released a huge video on the membership channel. You guys are starting to respond to it. Also gave you 3 stories in a process of manifesting instant, really, immediate contact after years of no contact, months and years of no contact with a specific person or someone that you care for. How you manifest that. Powerful video. Also, we have the live stream at the end of this month on October 27th, 2024, here at 9 a.m. in the morning, Pacific Time, USA. I'm going to come to you live from these studios of Be Something Wonderful here in Las Vegas, and I'm going to be answering your questions that you've been sending to us at info@besomethingwonderful.com, and I'm going to answer questions right on the live stream. If you're a member, join us. If you're not a member, check out the link below. Creators, with great love, with great light, and infinite gratitude. This is Tom Kearin here in the studios at Be Something Wonderful. Until next time, we'll see you soon.